the holidays are getting here, Adam. I know it doesn't feel like it, but they're on their way.
It was a little chilly last night, so I believe it's coming.
The fall is in the air. But the problem is people need money to buy gifts for loved ones.
And they got a list. Unless you're listing, people can't buy it if it's not on the internet.
If you're looking to make some money and you're looking to make it fast, you got that death pile of clothing. Sellhound is for you.
We've got some good friends over there. Suzanne, she's been helping us out.
She's been liking our videos. I don't know if you've seen over on our YouTube page, but she's been making comments. She loves us, Adam. I don't know what we did right, but she loves us.
It's because you brought up Gene Simmons. That's why.
It didn't hurt.
Well, our friends at Sellhound are giving you a special offer. If you go on there, sign up for an account, it'll allow you, it'll help you to get your clothing items, your death pile. It'll help you to get listed a lot faster, which means more sales.
I mean, your clothing, your shoes, your women's handbag, purse type items.
I know you got a lot of those, so let's help you out. Let's get those items listed. Derek, how can they qualify for that?
Well, first off, they're going to let you do your first 3 for free. Just try it out and see if you like it. Learn how it works. So you can't beat free.
You're out of nothing.
Everyone knows if they're going to do it for free, you're going to get hooked.
If it's free, it's for me.
After that, you just put in Death Piles, all capitalized, Death Piles 25, and you'll get 25% off whatever subscription you decide to go with.
That sounds like a wonderful deal to help you make more money. And like I said, that's what they're all about, is helping you get that bottom line so you can enjoy the things you want to enjoy.
Get some holiday cash.
And spend it at everywhere you want on the internet.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Death Piles and Taxes. Welcome in, everyone.
Hey, pal, I got a real problem to pick with you.
I'm sure you got a real problem. This is episode 106 of the Death Piles and Taxes podcast. We talk everything reselling, making money, and dealing with upset customers.
I didn't get my item, and I'm pretty upset. I'm pretty peeved off.
That is the one downfall, but you know what? That's what it takes with making money. I still have people that are...
What are you going to do to resolve my situation?
Well, what item did you not get?
The one I bought from you.
And that was?
Well, why don't you tell me? I haven't got it yet. I've been waiting a week.
I sell several items, sir.
Well, it's the one that costed the most. I just want a partial refund.
Oh, you don't sound like you could use hemorrhoid cream.
Why might not sound like it, but I prepare for emergencies.
Well, I guess we'll give you that partial refund. I sold it to you for $3.99. We'll give you 50 cents off because you sound like you need the cover.
That's the most expensive thing you sold, this hemorrhoid cream in the last week.
I'm not
Adam, this is Death Piles and Taxes, the show for the eBay e-commerce society. Our pirate ship is full. I won't say the names of people that are aboard that pirate ship after your I guess last week was our Halloween episode. It feels like we're in a time warp here.
What did we do last week?
We had a Halloween episode. You might recall you left and I had closed up shop and you did not download it.
There was some weird phone call and I says, I'm outie out, dog. I want to have nothing to do with this.
And you still haven't listened, and it was like a record download.
I'm not listening to that.
Well, you can still download and play it so we get some street cred.
I don't need that in my life.
You play it for the kids before they go to bed.
Oh, yeah, heavens no. And then be up with them all night with nightmares? No.
Well, you'd be up with them all night, you having the nightmares.
We're not doing that.
Folks, I used to think this was a bit of a, you're going to be clicking that the whole show.
I'll put it down.
Come on now.
I'm sorry.
We're a professional, award-winning podcast here.
You are a paid podcaster.
I used to think that Adam was kind of joking about all this stuff about not liking scariness and whatever. I thought you might be kind of playing into it a little bit. No. And then I've learned ever since that, no, that's not the case.
No, you do not mess with that kind of stuff. You
don't mess with Halloween trick-or-treating.
No, you stay far away from that. You don't need that kind of...
Speaking of which, so for Halloween, since we weren't having trick-or-treaters over, because I'm that guy, at least this year, we decided to do something. We decided to drive around so we could still see the kids in the costumes.
Yeah, you drove around to my house.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Let me get to it.
Did you bring in the bowl of candy?
My lord, I'm trying to tell a story and you just go right to the punchline.
I'm still a little peeved about it.
So-
Text message to prove it.
So me and my wife were driving around looking at the kids dressed up in Halloween costumes because it's fun to see, makes you happy. Because Lord knows we need it. That's 2 lords already. I might need to put explicit on this one.
We do need some happiness.
We need some happiness this time of year, and then this year especially. And I knew Adam was going up to a football game with his son because he told me about it. They dressed up like clowns or something, went to the football game.
Yes, that's what we did.
And so I said, well, okay, well, we'll drive up in his neighborhood and see how the rich kids, who's giving out the full-size candy bars. Maybe we can go snag a few off the doorstep. And I get there, and sure enough, there's a big bowl on Adam's door that says, I didn't even say, did it have a note?
No, there was no note.
There was no note. And I thought it'd be funny, and I told my wife, I said, take a picture of me going up there and emptying out the bowl of candy. And I'll say, thanks for all the candy. I'll go give it to my kids down in the poor neighborhood, the savvy part of town where Derek lives. And, well, lo and behold, I'm texting Adam kind of a joke about it, and he gets all upset because somebody cleaned up and did that not but a few minutes after I drove by, apparently.
Yes, it was like literally within probably 10 seconds of you telling me that, somebody had already been to our house and borrowed all of our candy that was in the bowls.
Now I wish it was me, because I'm going to be accused of it anyways. But I did see you had a house for sale right by you, so maybe I can become your neighbor.
We did have one next door, just sold. So
Oh, well, there goes that dream.
we got some new neighbors moving in, so.
But it's been a good week.
Halloween is good. I mean, like I said, it was kind of one of those weird things. Kids went couple places. I mean, Halloween costumes, they should be on deep discounts right now.
Deep discount. And Halloween candy.
Yes.
Which you think, who wants that? But you think of the Twix and the Reese's that are, look like the pumpkins and skulls and things.
Yes.
If you remember, Waddy, when he came and visited us, was telling us about the Cheetos, fiery Cheetos that were skeleton bones, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I got to bring something up because we always talk about these bolos in the future. Somebody wrote something on one of these Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and they were talking about the soda tab. And I says, you guys are late to the ball game. We talked about it 2 weeks ago on this podcast. And this girl was like upset. I says, I heard about it on the DeathPiles and Taxes. She's like, that's his podcast. And I'm like, that doesn't prove anything. We talked about
that's where I heard about it.
2 weeks ago.
How'd you know it was yours? She recognized you.
I guess she recognized us, knew what it was, but.
Well, yeah, that's where I have 4 cans of Tab. Aaron found some.
Ooh.
I went to every store on my way home that week, whenever that was.
It was like 2.5 weeks
2.5 weeks ago. I stopped by every store. I started in the north part of our county, and I went basically every store, and I thought, some of these deep discount stores, I'm going to find some.
Gotta have some Tab.
They were gone. Mr. Painter was down in the hunting regions, wherever he goes to harvest animals or whatever he does with his free time. So he was like in the southern central part of our state,
Where
where
population's low.
where population's low and items get dusty. He said that he was in there when old people were like almost ready to riot because they were clearing the house with the Tab. So the secret got out. So neither of us got any.
No.
But Aaron was over at our MPS, our favorite store.
Oh, really?
And he found 4 random cans, and he gave them to me Sunday, but I left them.
Just random cans. Not
Cans.
cases.
No, 4 cans. But I said, that's $20 a can, which is what they're going for right now. Probably can go for some more after December when it's officially stopped.
Yeah.
So if you're out and about and you have some of those like discount marks or some of those weird places, it's worth looking for them.
So, like this is a podcast we talk about this.
That's your podcast.
It is my podcast.
Why are you telling people on the internet to listen to you about things that they want to know about?
So that they can learn how to make more money. Derek, he has this sixth sense about him. He finds out things before they're going to happen. And a lot of it, like I said, it's candy. I mean,
A lot of it happens to be candy.
Candy, soda pop. I mean, the guy has got an in, and we're talking specifically about Tab. It's one-off of it's a cola type. I don't want to get ourselves in trouble with their sponsors. Thank you, Coca-Cola. Thank you, Pepsi. Thank you, Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
Mountain Dew.
When that happened?
Just wait.
Okay, all right.
The royalty checks are coming in.
Okay.
Tab, they're going out of, they're discontinuing, and these cans, like, look, a can, one singular can is selling for $20.
I got a hot take on that too.
$20.
They're apparently phasing out some other flavors.
Oh.
And Pepsi is cutting back production. I had a list of the Pepsi ones. I took a picture. Maybe I'll put that on the Facebook or Instagram or something. But Coke, you'd have to look it up. But there's other flavors. Tab is the most popular for whatever reason. But there's other ones that you might, even if you can get, think about this, $5 to $10 for a can of soda.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So soda pop, like I said, it's just people like have this thing. But the other one is candy. Derek sold a lot of the flavored M&Ms, the Necco Acres we've talked about in the past. But I mean, he's literally been selling candy for
the popcorn M&M I was talking about the other day.
Lots of money.
Did I talk about that on the podcast?
I don't think you talked about it.
So there's that's why I have to wait to sell them first. I guess we get going. There's an M&M that came out that was it was called popcorn M&M. And basically, it was like a crispy one with like a chocolate, so it was like chocolate. Well, anyway, sold a bag of those the other day for $9 for a.
That's crazy.
It was like the bigger king size type bag, but I just picked it up over at the store for I think $2. Sold it for $9. Again, with Waddy's tips, if you're around Trader Joe's, I know fall has a lot of things, seasoning stuff we've talked about. With the winter, they bring out Christmas stuff. Last year, he was selling those snowman. You put them in a hot cocoa bomb type thing.
Yeah. And like I said, and all these are good starter items. If you haven't ever done this before, like I said, get out and try a couple things. I mean, I went through that learning phase a lot. I've really hit hard, got into the sports cards just because that, to me, that's a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. I still look for random things, but this COVID's kind of changed the way, I source, do a lot of stuff. We try not to go as many stores. I still haven't been to a thrift store since, I think maybe when we were in San Jose.
My last one was in the month of, I believe it was March or February. It was whenever I was down in Vegas.
Yeah.
That was the last time I've been in a thrift store since the early 2020s.
Does this feel like one of those...
and I got a podcast here where I'm telling people to go to thrift stores, so I feel kind of not...
But doesn't it feel like kind of one of those like Alcohol Anonymous class? My last thing was on this day,
You'd think my death pile had been shrinking, but I've actually found ways to grow it without going to thrift stores, so I got a problem.
But there's a lot of things on if you're not listing, you're a hoarder. That's all we can say.
I got something to bring up, Adam, since the last time, and this will relate to reselling, so I know people are like, you guys always go Utah heavy too, because that's where we live. But the Utah Jazz, since our last podcast, were sold. And they were sold to a man that Adam tried to have some business relations with, which might be its own little podcast. But it was sold for $1.6 billion.
With a B. That's tens of hundreds of dollars.
And as I was telling my wife, just to remind you, that 0.6, the 0.6 is millions there.
600 million.
600 millions. So that 0.6 is over $500 million.
Yes.
A lot of people kind of forget that. We're like, well, that's a lot of money.
That's only 1.6.
It was 1.6. So, anyways, I had a resell epiphany with this. Now, a lot of people probably don't know this, but here in the state of Utah, we talked about Pelicans driving around. If you go back to one of the Husky sections, the family that owned the Jazz previously were the Miller family, and Pelican, our friend Pelican owns Gail. Larry Miller was the father figure.
Yeah, he was the driver.
He was the owner of the Jazz. He was married to a gal named Gail. They had a Lexus, and our friend Pelly swindled somebody for it somehow. That's how it relates to the show. But, so Larry died a few years back, and he basically, if you know anything about Larry Miller, I've read his autobiography, watched a lot of stuff on him. He basically gave his life to build the Utah Jazz, get us an arena here in the state, and just make this place a better place to live. That was kind of his mission in life, was to set up his family for success, but also he saw the Jazz as kind of like a gift to Utah. So, because obviously we don't have a whole lot of professional, that's our only real professional sports team unless you get into soccer and some of those other sports, but it's like we're a very small market, and to have a thing like the Jazz is kind of a rare thing for a market our size, especially back when he got it in the 80s. So Larry sacrifices his whole life. He builds what was the Delta Center, now it's called, I don't know what arena, because it changes every couple of years for more money.
The Vivint Arena.
And blood, sweat, and tears gets this team together. He puts everything in place for his family. And his idea is that through the generations of time, his great-great-grandkids are set and the team will stay in the family forever and it will stay in Utah forever. So what happens when Larry dies is, but a couple of years later, his kids decide, oh, this is cool, but we don't want anything to do with it. Gail's like, I got better things to do with my money, which she gives a lot to charity. She does a lot of good works, not busting down the Millers at all. They do a lot of good stuff for the community and the state. So what do? They say, Dad, we're going to sell your cool stuff that you left us because we don't want it.
Here comes the money.
And they get $1.6 billion, which...
Here comes the money.
Which, God bless you, if you can get $1.6 billion for anything, probably sell it. That's not bad.
Yes.
However, Larry gave his whole life...
And his legs.
His legs to the diabetes. His whole life. His Lexus ends up in Pelican's driveway. I mean, if he could not be rolling over any faster in his grave. This is what I'm talking about. Well, this is why when you go to estate sales and when you go out to things or you go to thrift stores and you find these cool things and you think, why is this here? Why did they sell this? Why don't they? Because people don't want your stuff. Even Larry Miller, who's a multi-millionaire, his family said, yeah, that's cool. We want the money. Sell. He thought that this would stay in his family till the end of time.
11 years after he passes, it's gone.
He made a trust account for his whole family to own this team through perpetuity, had everything set up in escrow, had people that would run it and manage it for him. All they had to do is show up and sit courtside and smile. And a lot of people would go watch because they have megaplex movie theaters and they have car dealerships and they got a lot of business and people will go support them because they're supporting the team.
Set up for success.
Set up for life. And they had a lot to it for a little bit, but 11 years later, cool, Dad, we don't want it anymore. So
we're done.
That's what this podcast is about, is because in some sense or another, you're a Larry H. Miller of something that you have that you think is awesome.
Yes.
Probably not something worth $1 billion that's nationally known or recognized.
1.6. Don't sell yourself short on that 600 million.
If I knew it was for sale, I could have got a few of us together, we could have crowdsourced and took a run at it. I mean, they didn't even tell us it was for sale. Have that common decency.
The crazy thing, I think he bought it back in like 86 or 87 for like 24 million.
Great turn on it, return on it, except for he's dead and not getting to enjoy it.
Large ROI on it.
So the great-great-grandkids are set for life, whatever, but
that's the ultimate flip right there.
But here's the thing, because you're holding on to something thinking, I'm going to pass that off, whether it's a gun, whether it's a vintage car, whether it's some video game system, it's your Hank Aaron rookie card, and you think, I'm going to pass this on to my kids, and they're going to pass it on to their kids.
First chance they get, they're selling that.
The second you die, the second you're gone, that they get a decent offer. They might think this is a cool car that Dad gave me. I'm going to hold on to it, put in a few car shelves and stuff. Yeah. And then it's like, well, this is kind of a pain.
Yeah.
And you got a public image, which is what I'm worried about with this guy, because he comes in as a total baby face. Everyone loves him. I don't want to get in deep path here, but the second you do something stupid and the community turns on you or hates you or you trade the wrong guy or whatever, I hope the Jazz stay here forever. That's a whole other podcast. But the second they get a decent offer on that Willie Mays card or whatever, and they're like, yeah, this is cool.
Sold.
But I don't give a crap about Willie Mays, and Dad's dead. So here you go. So my point is, sell it yourself and enjoy the money yourself. And if you die with the money, it goes to the kids anyways, right?
That's a great point.
So that was my epiphany over the past few weeks with the Utah Jazz going on. And, I don't know what Larry would think or not, but it just struck me as, man, the man basically gave his life to build us an arena, get a team here, get it all established. And it seems like, 11 years, that's a decade, whatever, but the one kid tried taking it over. Yeah. He didn't really want to do it. It seems like none of the other kids are that interested.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's resentment. I don't know if it's just boring. It's just not cool. The missus was there for a little bit, but she's got better things to do.
Yeah.
So they sell to this guy. They make more money than they'll spend in 10 generations. Yes. So good on them. But it just struck home with me that's what our people are doing. Like, you'll go to yard sales, and people will have stuff out there, and it's Dad's stuff. Or if it's their stuff, it's priced way too high because they got emotional attachment and think it's way too cool. So
you can only have so much stuff. I realized that I was cleaning my garage over the weekend and looking. There's only so much stuff, and I'll just the guy that bought the Jazz, his name's Ryan Smith. He started a company called Qualtrics. really interesting. I have a lot of opportunities. I do a lot of taxes for a lot of people there. A lot of it, it's all public knowledge. SAP bought them for $8 billion with a B, lots and lots of money. They're just one of these companies that are growing. They do surveys. Like, that's the base of it, is they do surveys for, Nike, all of these large, Coca-Cola, all these huge companies for customer service improvement. I mean, that's the bottom line.
And how would you, I was going to say appreciate, how would you rate this podcast as of today, on a scale of 1 to 5?
That's right. I would say 5.
And there you go. You're a billionaire.
Yes. But I've had a couple opportunities to meet him. Like I said, one of my other companies, we make some really cool off-road wheelchairs for people. Had the opportunity to use through Brigham Young University down there on the sidelines and talked with him, and we took in some pictures. He's really down-to-earth guy. And I knew from the very beginning, like right after the transaction, I heard that he wanted to buy the Jazz. Heard that he wants to, improve a local football team, and I've also heard he wants to buy a golf course. So who knows? We'll see what happens. So I'm, nothing but the best. Like it says,
If he wants to buy a podcast, I got one that's pennies on the dollar compared to some other investments.
So the one guys that have another podcast, man, I got to remember what it's called. I can't remember. They sold it to Spotify. And same thing with like Joe Rogan, like billions of dollars for their podcast enterprise. So we're getting there. It's nice, it's great. I'd love to pass it on to the kids, but if somebody writes us a good check, like it's done and gone. Like,
if your kids end up selling this podcast for billions of dollars, once me or you are dead, I'm gonna haunt them.
My kids did ask me that the other day, because they were like, how long have you been doing that? I said, we've been doing it for, getting close to 2 years. Are you and Derek going to do this till the day you die? I said, yes, we are.
Chances are, and that day is probably a lot sooner than you think, son.
I says, we have no reason not to. Like I said, this is exactly, we started this podcast because we've always talked.
Until Derek moves away to the middle of somewhere that you can't find remotely that doesn't have internet access.
There is no accessibility. These conversations are literally the exact conversations we would have. We talk every other day.
To connect with the satellite phone.
But now we just have to shrink our talk time and wait for a week.
Save for the podcast.
Wait for the podcast. We kind of eased up on that a little bit, but wait for the podcast, Leroy.
And while we're on the Jazz topic, I need to give a shout out to, I got a phone call the other day from, going back to our Jerry Sloan auction, the auction house, which I can now say doesn't hate me apparently. I got a phone call from these people, and they said, I didn't answer the phone call, but when I called them back, I said, yeah, this is a D-Roy Derek Everitt at DeathPiles and Taxes, just returned the phone call, wondering why you're calling me. I figured they want some money, or there was some more
shipping issues.
I thought they were following up with some vengeance, or just calling to tell me I'm cursed, or whatever the lady says. I have a note here on my desk that says, if there's ever another Jerry Sloan auction, I'm supposed to give you a call. And I said, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes, and are you interested?
Back up the brink spot.
I said, I sure am. And they said, okay, we'll have it posted in a couple days or whatever it was. And they said, are you just interested in his personal items, or are you also interested in the estate and the house? And I said, well, I'm probably just interested in the items. I thought, well, surely I can't afford the house, but I'm not going to tell you that because, I'll move out to, where's he from? McLeansboro, that's what it is.
Yeah, somewhere.
McLeansboro, Illinois or something, which I told Payne that's probably the nicest house there, and he said it's probably the only house there. Both are probably true. But, so anyways, they sent over some stuff. I sent some things out there. I think it's still going. There were no sports memorabilia in this go around, but there was a lot of antique and vintage type things. So if you guys are interested in it, DeathPiles and Taxes exclusive, which I will say in any of those groups too, that I heard about it on the DeathPiles and Taxes show, which is our podcast, but that's where I heard about it.
That's your podcast.
There's still a Jerry Sloan auction going, and if you want to buy his house, which here was my idea with the house, I don't know what they're asking for it, but I thought if you convert that to an upkeep it and put in like our nice, like my Malone jersey, the finals jersey, kind of make it a little shrine, but it's like a voyage for jazz fans to go spend a week Airbnb style in Jerry's house mansion back there and make it like an experience.
I don't. That's a long ways away too. I guess you want to check out the legend, but
and go take a ride on the tractor on the farm. And get away. People are looking for things to do. I'm not going to be able to do that or afford to. I don't know. I haven't looked into the cost of this, but it would be cool.
It would be. And at least
I'm not doing that. You can take that idea. It's free for anyone. Go and do it. Make millions of dollars so I can yell it at them on the podcast for years to come about this.
he's got to have something to yell at me for. But like I said, yeah, if you're new to the podcast, go check it out. There's the Jerry Sloan special episode. Really, really in deep. Derek found some items in boxes online. We'll have to post a picture of some of the things that he kept. Anyways, Derek found it and sold it for a lot of dollars.
The famous part was Jerry's game used jockstrap, which is now probably owned by some man in the San Francisco Bay Area. He paid good money for it.
And when we're not talking like, Derek talking about selling his peanuts on M&Ms. We're not talking $7 maybe.
I was getting a little nervous there.
We're talking like
peanuts, he said. Okay.
Tens of thousands of dollars that were made on these transactions. So
we're doing pretty good.
Lots and lots of money, and that's.
And I'm just trying to share that with you, the listener.
We just want, like I said, we want to share our success from you. One thing we're going to get into it. We've invited a guest. Like I said, I've been getting deep into some different niches. Derek is the wrestling card guy. He knows so much. Like I said, it's just over years and years. That's the one thing in this you can't know everything. It takes time. And as the more you get into it, the better you get at it. The more you know. Derek's done that for years with his wrestling cards. Really became a big power player in it. He sells a lot every week. I mean, what do you think? Because every time I talk to you,
that's a majority of what I'm selling right now. Yeah.
I mean, we're not. You're talking. What do you think you're selling? $500-$600 a week?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, good weeks. That's the weird thing with eBay, especially right now, is that it seems to get high and it's kind of waving a little bit. And but yeah, on good weeks, $200-$300 in cards to $500, depending on the week and how people are feeling. But definitely that's been more of the bread and butter and what's been moving for me. So.
And then, like I said, these are your death pile. These are things that you had 3 or 4 years ago.
There's things that have been there and started to list, and I mean that's kind of the thing with everybody's trying to find a good balance in listing and getting that stuff up for sale, but also have your family life or your normal 9-to-5 life or your downtime. So. And
that's the whole idea. Is if you can find something that you enjoy and that you can make like your hobby, but make money in it, like it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about eBay products, like we're finding treasures and being able to turn those around and sell them. That's something that you really, really enjoy. And as you educate yourself, find these vintage items, whatever it may be, have fun in it. I was able to go online and found a lot with soccer cards. It's one of my things I'm getting into. I don't know, this World Cup, this soccer, it's pretty big outside of the United States. I know
even inside the United States, it does get big for that time.
Like I said, it's one of these crazy things that's going to happen, and I just thought I'd jump on it. I always found this guy online. He's got some videos. Like he has got some amazing cards. We're hoping to have him on here in the near future to talk about it.
His name is Boris.
No, it's Bill.
Oh, that's close.
Close. So we'll see if I could just message him earlier. So we'll see. Again, we want to share, like I said, our, just things that we're finding. Like I said, it's fun for us. It's really enjoyable to find something online. And that's the thing, online, everybody has access to it.
That's the crazy thing, because we do. A lot of people say, I got health concerns, or I live here or there. I can't go to thrift stores, things around me, there's nothing here. I just got a package the other day. It was, again, Mike Painter might as well just take over as Derek co-host, because I bring up him and his stories for most of the show.
He's selling a lot.
But he sends me this message. It's like, hey man, don't know if you're interested. I've spent a lot of money this week on my card lot or whatever. And it's we've talked about these wrestling cards. It was a sealed game that had cards that we get graded. And it was like for like 40 or 50. It was really cheap compared to what the cards go for. Yeah. And this is brand new. He's like, I can't buy it. I'm tapped out. I bought too much this week. But if you're interested, and I'm like, sure. I bought it the second before anyone saw it. The guy had it for auction, starting at like $40, or buy it now at like $60, I think is what it was. So like a $20 range.
Sold.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to auction or wait for somebody to come in and say, hey, I'll give you $100 for it or $200.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I bought it off eBay. I got it at my house. It came yesterday in the mail, and now I'm contemplating, do I just put it back up there because it's brand new, unopened, and do I just sell it as is and see what the auction goes to, which might go a few $100s? I know a couple of the cards in that series I've sold for, over $200 a card.
Yeah.
But you have to get them graded, go through that whole process, which we talk about ad nauseum sometimes.
Which Derek also we're gonna start providing some videos doing.
We got some good ideas. We got some cool things coming up that we're planning and we're thinking that things out. So, so do I just sell it as is and put it back in the box and sell it for, double or triple what I pay? Or do I do the time, get the cards out, get them graded, we know we're backlogged, and then when I get them, I sell them for a lot of money. It's a win-win. It's just, what do I want to do?
Yep.
Which is a good thing to be at. But like Adam's saying, everyone has access to the internet. There's so many places out there to be able to purchase on the internet. If you're confused about where you can find stuff, again, go over to Sellhound and do your fetch engine.
Yeah.
And that will show you multiple places. Sellhound, we do the commercial, we have a relationship with them. But they have, besides helping you list things, and if you want to list things fast, your shirts and all that kind of stuff, clothing, we don't talk about that a whole lot, shoes, you just send them over the pictures and they finish it, virtual assistant type thing. They'll finish and complete your listing for you so you can list things really fast, really quick. They also have this fetch engine, which is like it's a search engine, but just
specifically for online
things.
Yeah.
So you can put in, your soccer cards or whatever you're looking for, and it will show you more platforms than I knew existed as far as where you can buy it and results, and then you just go from there. But point of the story is, if you go to these places and you're looking for something that you know that you can flip, a lot of times people are just clearing out houses, or it's like the old flea market where they just back up the truck, they cleared out somebody's estate sale, and they're just looking to make some money and go on to the next thing. They're not necessarily like us, the pirates, that might be in it for the long haul. A lot of what we do is long tail. I'll just put it up and I'll wait for somebody to come pay that price. Some people want it and they want it now, which is fine, but you can usually get deals doing that. And so, whether you're selling old Insane Clown Posse t-shirts from the 1990s, or you're selling soccer cards from 1972, or anything in between, you can find this stuff online and flip it. I mean, and like Adam was saying, everyone pretty much has access to the internet. So it takes out that I can't go do it, or I got health problems or whatever.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it. And that's what Adam's been doing with these cards.
Yep.
I really like doing it because they ship it to your house.
Yeah.
You already have your description. It's really easy. So
Yeah, you just copy. That's what I've been doing.
Copy and paste, basically.
Copy and paste and doing it. So, well, D-Roy, that was a quick first half, man. You brought us strong. Let's catch a break and come back and see what we can, how we can help out our listeners in your second half.
Hey guys, it's D-Roy Everitt and Adam Beasley from the DeathPiles and Taxes podcast that you're listening to right now.
Your favorite account. I know. It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
A lot of you have been asking what you can do to help the podcast out, and seriously, all we want is a review.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a 5-star review, but if not, be fair, at least a 4.
We know you're listening. Like I said, we see the numbers. We're all over the world. Like I said, it's just we see it. We appreciate everyone listening. Help us get a little higher up there. Help us get more new
Helps
listeners.
with the algorithms. People can help find us out, and it really does help. So if you can go to Apple, iTunes, that's where a lot of you are already listening, or wherever you're listening.
Spotify, Apple, all of these different things. They're all out.
Wherever you listen, give us you don't even have to write a review, just give us 5 stars. If you want to give us a review, that's cool too. We appreciate it, and keep listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. Well, we found some treasures over that break.
The who and the what now?
Derek was behoovings of gifts. He had plethoras of boxes that he didn't know what to do with when he bought this Utah Jazz Jerry Sloan lot. So I got a banker's box full of stuff. No givesy backsies on this one. I would use the term, but you can't anymore.
I saw a few things in there that I probably should have held on to.
The coolest, I wanted to grab this picture. So we were talking about, Larry Miller sold the team. I don't even know.
No, Larry Miller's family
That's
sold the team.
May 19th, 1994. Prior to the internet, the only way you found out about things was in newspapers. You found out today's news like the following day. So there's this picture of the Jazz owner, Larry Miller. He's being restrained by his son Greg after he's going after an unidentified fan.
For some reason, Greg didn't want to keep the team after there's this article about him having to hold his dad back from fighting another fan.
Like Gary, Larry's face is like he's got the guy by the collar of his shirt and ready to punch him in the face.
Oh, the good old days. You can't do. I mean, even Mark Cuban's never thrown a punch at a fan yet.
Yeah, people think Cuban's like the good owner, like he's a crap. No, Larry was ahead of his time.
He was the man. He was the people's owner. It was like if you owned the team and you're a blue collar guy and some guy up in the stands yells at you, you're just gonna go up there and tell him what you think. Go fisticuff with him.
Like Larry had his seats and he was always a part of it.
Oh, he'd go in the locker room and then fire him up, give him his. I'm sure the coaching staff just probably was a little annoyed by it, like, because he's gonna go in there and just tell them to get off their butts and start playing a little harder.
But there's a whole box full of some cool stuff. We'll post some pictures, but it's just fun looking at remembering those things that happened that people did.
But imagine nowadays if you were watching an NBA game and the team owner, who's usually up in the luxury box just doing business deals, not really caring, was down in the stands grabbing some guy by the collar with his kid trying to hold him back.
Yes.
So they wouldn't. It just doesn't. It's just. It was a different time, as we like to say.
It was. Imagine, the Kraft guy was in Bill Kraft going after somebody.
Oh man.
The one
it was great.
Art, whoever, the guy that owns Home Depot.
It's just because, the reason, violence is never a great thing. I'm not advocating. It was just nice to have a guy that cared as much as you did about the team.
It's kind of like when your brother ticks you off so much, you're just ready to just get in a fight. And after that, everything's fine.
Now, I'm sure these guys got compensated very well, and maybe that's why Greg didn't want to keep the team. There's a lot of bad memories about having to take Dad out to the parking lot to cool down when they wanted to go fight the Denver Nugget fans or whatever. But
something like
that. That's a good box. You had a bumper sticker fall out. I know it was money on eBay. I probably gave you a college fund right there for one of the kids.
I know you had other boxes, and I was with you when the big throwdown happened. It didn't quite go the way we wanted, but it was a box full of stuff, and there was lots and lots of zeros behind the number that the guy wanted to pay you for.
So I need to get back in touch. I've done a couple deals with that guy, and my newest one, I haven't followed back up. But I was going to get. He offered me $250 for a few pieces of paper, and it's just I haven't followed up.
It's because you got when you're rich, $250 is like nothing to you.
You can't hide money, Adam. That's what they say.
I know you can't hide money in that new Toyota that you drive around. You're just on a flaunt.
A new Toyota, 300,000 miles. It's a Prius. It's a thing of beauty. Hey, Adam, I got to follow up. A few weeks back, we had a conversation about Cactus Jack over at McDonald's. And you said to ask you about 3 to 4 weeks what his real name was and that you wouldn't forgive us. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but any clue whatsoever.
You always do this to me. I have no idea.
Okay, I was just proving a point there.
There's lots of points you can prove against me. Very Larry Miller-like, get all excited, and then, I just forget about it. Just got to move on.
I also have some tax questions came in from a listener.
From a reliable source?
A reliable source. Not going to go too far in the tax talk. They just want to know if...
We forgot to do that.
You forgot to do the tax talk. This can count. They want to know, is there such thing as tax filing fees, and have you ever heard of anyone prepaying taxes?
That's a good question. Tax filing fees, it depends on when you're saying filing fees. That is a good question. There are a lot of avenues that you can file your taxes for free, but it's never really for free. You can go to the IRS website. It's really hard to do with your state agencies, so there are filing fees in a lot of situations. A lot of times you have to pay to continue to open a situation. And as far as prepaying taxes, that is absolutely a true thing. I have lots and lots of clients who prepay taxes. I have some clients that they prepaid almost $20,000 to the next year. Like I said, they're just continually trying to get ahead of the ballgame, so they always kick the can. I have one guy that every year, whatever refund he gets, he applies to the following year. I do have a client who, if they wouldn't have prepaid any taxes, they would have probably wrote like a $50,000 check, but because they prepaid the taxes, they got about a $3,000 refund. That's what I try and do with my clients is, as we try and plan for things, I try to over-withhold or have them, prepay or pay in advance, so that when it actually comes time to do the return, they're not like in a shocked state. Does that kind of get where you're going? I feel like that was like a $750 cat type question.
Throw it out there. Also, hope you voted today. You don't have your sticker.
I don't have my sticker. I did.
Okay.
I brought my ballot.
Everyone out there, you should, I hope everyone, this comes out late, but everyone should, that's your civic responsibility. I was doing the math, this is like my 5th election, I think, 5th or 6th.
First one was in 2000.
So, everyone ever since I've participated in.
And when I say everyone, I mean also local elections. Those
Yes.
are the ones that really
They're important.
make a difference.
I've voted for you on a ballot before.
That is a true statement.
One of a few people that voted for you on a ballot.
We had about 360 and we needed about 410, so we were just a smidge short.
Pretty good. It was, anyway.
I in fact got the picture right there.
Yes, that was fun time. It was interesting. You learn a lot. I've never put my hat in that ring, and I don't know if I ever will, but definitely learn a lot, even vicariously. Adam gets a lot of guff from people. I don't know why. You were saying during the break we were talking, I'm unabashedly unashamed to go out on the internet to these thrift groups like we talked about we belong to, and if anyone says anything, I usually try to say, hey, I heard this on the DeathPiles and Taxes show, because I'm trying to build our fan base. I'm trying to get people out there, and maybe we're getting bigger than I think, or big enough, but my goal is for somebody to be like, that's your podcast. Why are you here, Derek? What are you doing? Adam over the weekend was following my role. And he goes on the thrift, I won't say the name. He goes on a site on Facebook, one of these groups, and he's talking about the tab. And he says, hey, I heard about that on the DeathPiles and Taxes show
2 weeks ago.
And, this bolo, get on it, people, get making some money. And some lady, I say lady, it could have been a man, but it was a lady, so I'm not trying to be, some lady, comes on and she's like, well, that's his podcast. No wonder he's showing that's his show.
So
puts him right on the spot.
She did some real deep diving and found out, yes, you're is right. Thank you. Is right. You are right. That is our podcast.
So if you're listening, lady, thank you, and look for Derek, who does that a lot more than Adam, but I've never been called out for it. But the reason I say that is because Adam was running for a city councilman of our small town, and this has been 2 years ago.
Like 8 years ago.
And things get politics get heated. If anything, politics get heated. Even in small towns where you wouldn't think they would.
Yep.
There's always, a network and good old boys club and people that have been there for 20 years or people that are new or whatever. There's your factions and your posses and your, whatever you want to call it, your cliques. And Adam wasn't a part of any of this. He literally just wanted to come, he had some good ideas. He wanted to come improve the place where he lived and serve in the community. And so he's putting up his signs, do his due diligence, and he'd go ask people if they could put signs up, and there was all sorts of red tape about, well, I know this guy, or I know that guy, or I want to offend this person or that person. So
that one ticked me off.
So he had kind of a hard, you were going uphill both ways. You're out trying to meet people, talking to people, doing things that hadn't been done before, like entering the local parade and, going to park events.
Yeah.
The things that everywhere else is done.
Totally.
It wasn't done in our town, and for whatever reason,
I had to call the lieutenant governor's office because I was escorted out of the family night at the park because I was passing out candy, and I paid for the booth. I did everything right.
It was just it was strange, and not run down the town, but it's just the smaller the town you get, kind of the worse the politics are, believe it or don't.
Yeah.
I mean, to some extent. Obviously, nationally, we have problems now, too, with politics. So, anyway, me and Adam were watching this USC football game together on a random Saturday night. Adam had us up to the house, had a nice barbecue, and we spent most of the night together as our families watching this football game. And it was a very memorable game because Utah came in highly rated, and they ended up losing. It was a tough game, so it kind of seared it in our minds. Well, not, but maybe the next day or two later. The next morning, there's this thing in the local Facebook, our town Facebook group that said, basically, who's been, somebody's campaign signs were tore down,
yeah.
And they were asking if any whereabouts, which had to have been some bored teenage, it was bored teenagers.
The city. The city came in, got any ones that were in the park strip, they came and picked them up.
Okay, so I didn't know the answer to it. I just figured it was bored teenagers.
But we didn't know that
at the time. Yeah. I just figured, because when you're teenagers in a small town, you go and you cause some chaos and you do stupid things like take people's real estate signs or campaign signs and you go put them on somebody else's house.
Yes.
Turns out it was the city because you had them in places they weren't supposed to be is even better. So they were asking if anyone saw anything or did anything, and one of the commenters went off on like this big old conspiracy theory about, I saw the new guy, he was out there in the middle of the night tearing down other people's signs and throwing them away. And it was this big old just diatribe about how Adam had been out the night before, the night that I was with him, and that he was out taking other people's campaign signs and just tucking them so that he could get some more votes, the dirty scoundrel that he is. And I did. I came to your defense. I said, I was with the new guy all last night, and he most certainly was not doing any of this.
Well, how did you know that's who I was talking about? Well, because the other guy has lived here since he's 10, and he's now like 7.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 people running, and the only one that's only been in town for enough to be, you're a new guy until you've been in town for like 15 years in these places.
Exactly.
So, anyways, that just came to line with everything that was going on there.
And it was funny because, like I said, I was trying a couple new things. We were passing out candy, but I couldn't give away certain things, and like, I do taxes for one of the guys who used to play for BYU. His name's Jonathan Tabaneri, really good guy. He played back in the year that they went to, the Sweet 16. They really did really well. They had Jimmer Fredette and him and a couple other guys, and, he played professionally in Italy forever. But he came and like, he couldn't wear his BYU stuff, which is really weird. Like, he couldn't endorse me. So his son made him a shirt.
Wait, he couldn't. I thought he could wear it because BYU wouldn't allow it.
No, like the city wouldn't allow it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I thought it was BYU didn't want to endorse your campaign.
No, it was the actual city wouldn't allow it.
Really?
That's why it was so strange to me.
That is strange.
So like his son made a BYU shirt, like made it like
And the balloon has his number on it.
Yeah, it looked like it, a 3-year-old made, which is really cool.
It was this really tall, dark man that's in our town.
Exactly.
This isn't around here often.
Why is that guy speaking Portuguese?
Yeah, he looks.
So
athletic. That's an athletic man.
He was there, Derek was there, his wife, we were there, driving down the parade route, passing out, candy. And when we got done, we were flipping around the side. We had one of my, my Rhino, my UTV, whatever you want to call it. And he's sitting on the top, and he's just rolling around. And he's a good guy. Like, he's just funny. And he's telling the police, just like regular police guys, hey, man, vote for him. He'll make you the chief of police. I was just dying, and the guy's laughing because I knew who he was. He was one of my clients that I did taxes for, but that was my run at politics. I know we kind of got into it. It's do your civic. No matter what you do, go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
And educate yourself on the issues. Yes, everybody, they only talk about the big one. The presidential, and yes, the Senate races, like those are important. But the big key ones are like these amendments to the Constitution, these judges, these other things. I mean, right now, one of the big things in our area is a proposition to make our county from 3 commissioners to 5 commissioners plus a mayor type seat. There's so many things that are involved, and you really hold it in your hands. You say what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's your duty. A lot of people have died for that right here in America. Internationally, we got international listeners. You vote as well. It's just the thing that you need to do to keep you. It's just the right thing to do. I'll just say that.
I wonder what like one of those Parliament gavels would go for on eBay.
And go for I'd give $20 right now. $20 cash.
$20.
Yeah, to prove that was real.
Yeah, it's like and getting the election stuff. Like it's always huge. Like presidential stuff, it's always collectible. It's always going to sell on the internet. There's lots of things.
I mean, we might as well get into it. I try not to get political. We have to get fired up.
Election.
But let me say this, and regardless of where you stand, I've said this before. I sold Obama stuff. I've sold Trump stuff. I definitely have my own opinions. I try to be a little more purple than probably a lot of people, where I'll vote for both parties. Some people are very strict red, very strict blue. That's a whole other ball of wax that we're not going to get into. I have a regret with these Trump trains that have been going around. I got caught behind some the other day. Can't say I was necessarily happy about it. I was trying to get somewhere in a hurry. They're like going 10 miles an hour. There's a million of them. I might have came back the other way and done some things I might not want to talk about on the podcast for listenership. But I almost ran out of gas. I was trying to get to the gas station, and I got caught behind this convoy of. If you don't know, there's these Trump trains, is what they call them, and they're basically pickup trucks with flags of Trump. And so, why did I not think to start selling this stuff At these places like where they're selling them,
They had a guy in
they have these little pop-ups tents.
in Santa Quinn. The guy had
Yeah, they're kind of
Spanish
coming all
folk
over.
had one.
And it doesn't mean you have to even like the candidate, but if there's a popular thing, I could order it in Trump hats,
Yeah.
Trump flags, and you get them for a couple bucks and you sell them for $20, $30, and especially when these big convoys are going by,
People sell them.
I'll take your money and here you go and go have a great day. Like, why was I so late to this party? Why did I not think about this?
I don't know.
You get your little tent and you order in your stuff. I've seen it on the Facebook groups and stuff.
I saw 3 of these tents in the last week.
And I mean, it might be our area's more that way, but you kind of look nationally, the stuff's happening.
You could have been selling Joe Biden stuff. I mean, I'm sure
Make money off of it.
there's a big demand for it, right? Lots of people, tens of thousands of people.
Me and the Priuses, we're shutting down the freeways.
If you drive a Subaru, you're probably could
We're out to the national parks. You can't even get into Arches right now. It's backed up for miles. Okay, well, I'm gonna get us in trouble either way, but.
I did say that the other night. I said, you probably drive a Subaru. My wife lost it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. But the point of the story is that sometimes you have something that costs you because you're like, well, I don't like that or I don't like this. If it's money and it's not hurting anybody, like, that's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, some people could say, well, if you sell your soul, you can do whatever. But, like, really, it's an opportunity. It's making money.
Yeah.
Hand over fist. It was a real key opportunity, and I thought, I wish I'd have thought about that because that was a lot of money, and they're going to just go, up and down the street, and people are going to be like, oh, where can I get those?
Yep.
Oh, that guy over there's selling them.
Yep.
And at that time, what's he going to say? If I say it's $40 for a flag, oh, I can go get it cheaper on eBay.
Go for it.
I can go get that. You're the only guy in town.
Exactly.
So that was something I thought
That
about.
was your regret, huh?
That was my election regret, is that I didn't make more money off of the current president at the time of this recording.
There you go. Well, we don't
And who
know
knows,
that.
by the next 5 recordings, who knows where it will
It
be.
could still be the same.
It might, maybe I should get on it. Maybe it will be an ongoing,
Well, I will go. There is, like I said, we've had some special guests on the show. Like, it's real hard to get him to book back on the show. You're gonna have to go through the archives. But there is one episode. I can't remember exactly what number it was. You can check it on. He was on the podcast. He did a little recording for us, and he did talk about this will not be his last stand. So
I might get replaced by him. Adam might hire him in.
there will be a trickle down effect.
There
here.
will be some trickling.
2024 maybe 2028. You can get on the Trump Jr. train. I mean, there's potential here.
Who knows? Adam, there's been a big thing that we haven't talked about going on eBay, and that's adding requirements.
Adding requirements.
There's been specific
The item specifics.
item specifics that are
I
required.
get them all the time.
So a lot of people have been getting a lot of these. What's happening is come February, if you haven't updated these required item specifics, your stuff, once it comes time to renew them or whatever, they're just going to be disappearing and not be able to be found in search. So if you get some free time, like I say, I got like 300 some odd. And a lot of what it is it's like if it's clothing, you have to go and say it's a men's shirt or a large or a blue or whatever. There's the required and then there's the recommended. They're saying to leave the recommended alone, don't worry about it. But the required stuff, you're going to want to go in there, find you some free time. There's some software out there. There's some services that will help you out. Somebody was saying there's something you can download a spreadsheet that can do it faster. I don't know anything about that. I'm just going to go in the bulk lister, but I'm going to do it after the holidays and after Christmas because February's after all that. So I'm just going to keep listing and try and get stuff up for sale. We're in the fourth quarter officially now, so we have been for a little bit, but we haven't really talked much about it. But if you're seeing that, you're not alone. A lot of people have been kind of saying how surprised they are. Like I'm saying, I got 300 some odd items that I'm going to have to add some stuff in. So you're not alone, but make sure to get that done by the deadline or your stuff will start to kind of disappear as it comes up for renewal.
And you don't want that. Like I said, you want to have people to see your items, and if that's the way to do it, then you just got to do it.
That's just, that we kind of missed that when we went over the fall seller update. It was in there, but it's not a huge deal.
Did I hear a huge deal? Is that what you're saying?
It wasn't a huge one, but what it is just those things that help you get found on Google and other search engines. So eBay's just trying to help get your stuff out there. It's kind of annoying when you get slammed with 300 things to update. Also, what's happened with me is I'm getting enrolled into the
Well, can you get into it? Is this confidential information?
No, this isn't confidential information. We're not going to talk anything confidential information.
We're not talking anything.
No, we can't even probably say this much. I got some other confidential information that I can't talk about, folks, but...
I can, though. Derek.
No. You don't know anything about it, Adam, so there's no way you can talk about it, because I can't tell anybody, so I didn't tell you.
Oh, I was just talking about what you're going to buy Holly for Christmas.
Exactly. So I'm getting into the managed payments program.
Okay.
And I've got several emails coming through that are ending listings that aren't eligible for the program.
What?
And I haven't had time to dive into it. A lot of them look international, so I don't know if it's the global shipping program like we've talked about, which I thought they worked out all the bugs. But I've got 4 or 5 different emails of, hey, we're deleting all these things I got to go look at and make sure they're available to be sold, especially, like I said a minute ago, we're getting into that fourth quarter magic time.
Well, I mean, I buy a lot of stuff internationally, so I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just with the global shipping, I told everyone get in line and get in fast, and I did that myself. I was thinking it would happen either way before Christmas or way after Christmas, but of course it's going to be right during that busy season. I'm sure I'm going to flip over right when I'm trying to get all that done, and hopefully I don't have any complications that cost me money. Because that's got me a little nervous.
Well, like I said, it's all you got to stay on top of it. You got to be ready for the game. Like since it's the fourth quarter, things are starting to wrap up. Just like the show here, Derek, we got another minute or so.
Well, I got a couple derailments. Now, do you want one about my wife's birthday, or do you want one about my flu shot?
Let's do a derailment about your wife's birthday.
So happy birthday to my dear wife Holly. Her birthday is tomorrow as we record. And one of the things I've been doing lately is, I don't even know if he's a friend of the program, but we've talked about, I want to get him on the show. I got a friend that has a catering business, but because those numbers have been down, he started to do where you can just pick it up from him, and they'll do daily meals. So 2 or 3 days out of the week, they'll just have a dinner. You pay him $20, whatever, depending how big of a dinner you want, $20, $40 for a family. You go and pick it up, or, well, they actually kind of deliver it, but you go pick it up at a spot.
Yeah.
And then you have this nice catered dinner that you don't have to do anything about. Well, the other day, I'm talking to my wife, and we usually do 1 a week from them, and they put out the menu on Monday, and they'll have 2 or 3 days. And so I'm like, well, Wednesday they got beef stroganoff, and I just go down the list of what they got available, and then like on Friday it was like pork, I don't know, medallions or something, and then like a radish something dish, this and that. And so I'm like, so probably Wednesday, and she's like, what was that? And I'm like, well, Wednesday, it's beef stroganoff and a green salad with some ranch, so I'm an idiot. And
Can we catch that? Let's drop that.
Yeah, that's goes without being said. I am an idiot. Any man that's been married for more than a year, you're either if you made it over a year, you're just an idiot, and if you didn't make it over a year, you probably just she got sick of you.
Are you saying that you're an idiot if you get married? Because that's what I took out of the conversation.
Probably. You could probably we could argue that, but
here's the shovel for you.
Well, that's why I mean, are you not an idiot, Adam?
Derek, we're talking.
Is your wife the smarter?
We're talking about your
exactly your better half. I think any one of those, that has a partner realizes that you've got to kick your coverage, and a lot of times you're dumb. So I'm driving home today, and I'm kind of thinking, man, I need to put that order in with Brady, and then it kind of clicks with me for tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, that's Holly's birthday. So then I have to call. I call her, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I just put something together that you probably don't want beef stroganoff for your birthday, so. We'll go down, we'll figure something else out. I didn't put it together that was your birthday when I kept asking you about it the other day, because it was Wednesday at the first of the week, or Saturday or Sunday, whenever the menu came out. And she's like, oh, no, that's fine, she's very sweet, very nice. And I said, we'll take care, don't worry about that. I didn't put that one together. So. Yeah. Don't offer your wife beef stroganoff on her birthday unless that's something that she wants to. I mean, if you go to a restaurant or whatever and that's what she orders, whatever, but probably not my best moment as a husband.
And I'll disagree with you
Okay.
on that, but
Adam's wife's into beef stroganoff.
I was gonna say, no, I mean, yes, I'm an idiot. I just am. Like I said, you learn things, you do things, but I always say, look what my wife chose and look what I chose. You know what I'm
But
saying?
what were her options at the time?
That's her fault. I mean, she's way.
You were very persistent.
That's very true. She's way out of my league, and I just kind of like it gradually, she
That's true. You were
whittled, it down to where she's like, all right, yeah, sure.
all right.
Now we have 3 kids, everything,
Now
wonderful.
she's stuck. Where's she going?
Exactly.
She's trapped. At least till that last one's 18, and you just had him like
I
a
know,
year ago.
we just signed a new contract.
So,
18-year contract here. We were having this discussion, we had dinner last night, and that's what,
do you have beef stroganoff?
no, she had a waffle. I had blackened salmon.
No. Wow, where were you? Out with the Joneses?
The Big Bear beef, the Big Bear diner.
The Big Bear beef. All right, the beefaroni.
The Bear diner, it was good.
Well, next week, remind me to tell you about my flu shot.
I'll see what you were doing with the Rona. You caught the Rona or didn't catch the Rona?
I've been rolling free, knock on wood. The numbers are getting crazy. It's been really weird.
So there are 2 things that are for certain in life there, D-Roy.
Well, that would be your death piles.
And their taxes.
Taxes.
And that's your podcast.
You're that guy.